Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय। नाइस। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिने नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं भङ्गं लुब्धयते गिरिं
Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Nirarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Thank you for joining today. So, to come together like this, to understand spiritual knowledge means that we have faith in something very sublime. You know what does sublime mean? You need to close it completely. Yeah. So and, exactly. Yeah. So, so faith in something sublime. Sublime means something that is not tangible. If I showed a product and said, you buy this for $100, $200, it's tangible. So, Bhagavad Gita knowledge is not tangible. So, I'm sitting in the couch at 5 p.m. I feel like coming to Bhagavad Gita class. It is not tangible. It might not be tangible. What I will get if I put in my time. So, anyone who's capable of having faith in something sublime, definitely you have done a lot of pious activities in your previous lifetimes. Okay? It's not easy, but we have to make that faith into a fire. Right now, the faith is like a small spark or maybe a bunch of sparks. Now we have to kindle this. You see, kindle, like you, not the Amazon Kindle, but you kindle, using a fire, right? So it's into a fire, spark into a fire. So, so we are coming here in order to expand on the faith you already have. You already have this faith. But when we receive this knowledge, this faith becomes bigger. The small spark we have becomes a fire. Becomes a fire. So we are here to fan this spark we have of interest. We have a spark of interest somewhere within us that just peaks in and goes. But we have to make that more continuous by association. Maybe it's 2%, we have to make it 10, we have to make it 20, we have to make it 40. Now, when we feed the mode of goodness, that's what we were reading last week, right, in Bhagavad Gita. When we feed that, then we get knowledge. So when someone might ask, what do I get if I get knowledge? Knowledge about the absolute truth. What do I get? First of all, you can accept the reality of this world. For instance, you can accept how people are. You can accept how this world treats you. You can accept what is happening to you. Why? Because you see the bigger perspective of how things work. This is called knowledge. Ignorance means to see a very small portion. Knowledge means to see the whole part. Right? So the broader my vision is, then better is my knowledge. So we have to, it gives us acceptance. We won't be insulted when someone doesn't treat me the way I want to be respected. He has to respect me so much, but he's not respecting. He is, she has to be more humble, but she's not being humble. Or she has to be more kinder, but she's not able to be so. In terms of relationships, or I should get more money, I'm not getting money. I have to become promoted. So we can accept. Why can we accept things? Because we understand in the grander scheme of things, Krishna is engineering my life in such a way, not for me to improve myself simply materially. That is not Krishna's plan for us. So if you understand God's plan for you is simply to make my material life better, then I will misunderstand God. I can't understand why God is doing this way. But God's purpose is to not make me materially prosperous. That's not God's plan for me. If that was God's plan, then he would be very partial. He'll be partial to the rich, and he'll be, what do you say, impartial, sorry, non favoring the poor. So God's plan is to not make us all rich or make us all famous. That's not God's plan for us. Why do we say Krishna is saying Samoham Sarvabhuteshu Name Dveshyastana Priyaha? Krishna is saying I'm equal to everyone in Bhagavad Gita. Samoham Sarvabhuteshu. I'm equal to everyone. Now, if that is what equal to everyone in Krishna's eyes is to have this name, fame, or whatever it is, then there is inequality on every level. But where is equality present? Equality is present when we understand our purposes to go back to Krishna, to find Krishna. And that opportunity we have every moment. That opportunity to humble ourselves before Krishna we have every moment. And this is the goal of life. The goal of life is to use every situation in my life as an opportunity to humble myself before Krishna. Humble myself. Yes, I need help. Yes, there is something, Krishna, you're trying to teach me. To have that faith. Krishna, there is something for me to learn here. You're trying to teach me something. What is that something? That I'm attached to this world in some way, subtly or grossly, to respect, to adoration, to prestige, to money, to fame, to women or men or whatever. And you want me to understand something about myself. What can I understand? So let me open and read Bhagavad Gita. So this opportunity exists in our life every moment. But if we think that Krishna consciousness or God consciousness is something I get more and more, then it will disappoint us. You think, okay, I can't. So we have to rewrite our story essentially. All of us have a story that is running in our mind. Everyone here, what we think most of the time, every day is we relay back our own story. How many of you agree with me? We all relay back our story. What happened to me in the past? Who treated me like this? Who treated me like that? What happened to me? What did I do? We all relay back our stories, right? Right? We replay that story again and again and again and again and again. And sometimes the stories make us sad. Sometimes the stories make us only that could happen again. So Krishna consciousness means to rewrite those stories. Who's the director of the story? Not me. We have to rewrite the director as Krishna. Right? But Krishna is directing that story. But why did it come out to be a bad story or even a good story that is eventually going to become bad? Why? Because I did not act properly. He directed me, but I didn't act properly. So we have to rewrite this story in which I am not blaming anyone. I am not trying to find fault with someone. I'm not struggling with that story. I'm not wrestling with that story. I am comfortable with that storyline. How do I get comfortable with that storyline? I accept Krishna, all the mistakes I made. I'm going to change the way I'm acting from now on. When we can accept to Krishna our faults in our past wholeheartedly. Yes, I was dishonest. Yes, I was very passionate. Yes, in a bad way. Yes, I was too talkative. Yes, I had uncontrolled senses. Yes, Krishna. It was a bad story, I agree. But not because of he, she, you, me, that girl, that boy. It is difficult to rewrite that story, but we have to really humble ourselves. Only then that is called mukti. Mukti means to what? To be freed from our own past stories. We have so many stories, and those stories are haunting us. Only if I did this, will my storyline come to be like that in the future. So Krishna consciousness means we have to understand reality, understand Krishna is trying to help me, teach me something. And if this was my past, this means something I have to learn from this past. I did something foolish. What is the reality? I open Bhagavad Gita and start reading. Because what is misery? The gap between expectation and reality. That is misery. I expect something to happen. I drive on the snow, but my tread depth is hardly 2 by 32. Then I'm going to slip down and fall because I have a very low tire tread depth. My tires have gone bad. So if my expectation is that I'll drive very nicely if I take a zoom turn, if I have bad tires on the snow, then my expectation is foolish. Foolish. So I have to align my expectations to reality. Right now we are asking Krishna, align your reality to my expectations. What are we telling Krishna? Change reality. What are we telling Krishna? Change reality to suit my wishes. This is called a demon. Hiranyakashipu wanted to change reality. Change reality to suit my expectations. What is surrender? Change my expectations to suit reality. That's it. So we should tell Krishna, Krishna, I suffered because I expected those things from myself, from people, from this world, and from you, based on my own reality. Now I understand I am not the controller of reality. There is something called the absolute truth. I must align myself with that absolute truth. What should I do? I must align myself. I am a part of that absolute truth. I am not the absolute truth. I am a servant of the absolute truth. Understood? So if I serve, and when can I serve? I must know. I must know and I must serve that absolute truth. When I become a humble servant of that absolute truth, then I'm freed from the pain that I have caused myself. This is what we tell Krishna when we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we have to tell Krishna, Krishna, my expectations are out of the zone. Sorry. Tell me what is reality. Krishna, tell me, where am I mistaking it? Where am I missing it? So very simple. Someone asks you what is spiritual life? Very simple. Align your desires, align your convictions, align your expectations, align what you think you believe in to what is reality. That is spiritual life. Simple. And that will free you from all misery. Simple. That's all. And how do we understand what is reality so we could align our expectations, desires, convictions? How do we do that? But how do I surrender if I don't even know the reality? I know the reality and I surrender to it. But how do I know what is truth? Yes, here, if I surrender to the I-75 rule that I should go at 70 miles per hour, then I won't get a ticket. So first I must know the rule. I-75 means I have to go, speed limit is 70 miles per hour. I know the rule. And then I submit to it, then I won't have any issues going on I-75. I must know all the rules, how to keep the lane, how not to, don't cross the double yellow line. If you know the rules and you surrender to those rules, you won't have a problem, most probably. Of course, in the material world, you can even have a problem there. But when it comes to realizing the absolute truth, you won't have a problem. Understood? If you just understand this is reality and I submit to it, that's it. That is called Krishna consciousness. We surrender to the absolute truth. Now, if I say, I won't surrender, I will make my own truth, we will suffer until then. Just like I told, you go on bad tires or you go on 90 miles per hour on I-75. So if someone says, I won't surrender, I will have my own, see, I have a big house, so I won't surrender. Someone says, I look very beautiful, so I won't surrender. I'm very famous, so I won't surrender. Okay, fine, don't surrender. Then reality will do a reality check on me. That's what most people are going through. But if we surrender, the very instant you'll become freed. Krishna says, Machchitta sarvadurgani mat prasadat tarishyasi. Atachetam ahankarantam na shrosyasi vinankshyasi. If you remember me and you surrender to me I clear away all your obstacles. I take charge of you. Come. I take charge of you. Sarva Durgani mat prasadat tarishyasi. I take charge of you. Krishna himself takes charge of you. Athachet. But if you say, I don't care for you, reality. I'll have my own imagined reality. I like that. I'll float there. I'll wallow in the dirt. Vinankshyasi, Krishna says. You'll become destroyed. You'll become like a nobody. You'll become like a nobody. Vinankshyasi, Krishna says. You become destroyed. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. So we have a choice. Understand the truth or deny the truth. What is the truth? I am spirit soul. I am in this body. I am not anything of this. I'm eternal. I'm part and parcel of the absolute truth. Krishna, Mamaivamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha Manashashtani Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. Simple. And it can be verified by experience. Whatever Krishna says is not unreasonable. Krishna says you are soul. The materialists say you are matter, which aligns with my experience. All of you want to always live forever. So Krishna, that's what he says in Bhagavad Gita. You are Sanatanaha, Krishna says. Now, if Krishna says something against your experience, you can question Krishna. But what does Krishna say? He says you are Sanatana. What does Sanatana mean? Sanatana means? Yes, eternal. So Krishna says, I'm eternal. Am I eternal or not? What is the proof I'm eternal? What is the proof Krishna says that is eternal? Can we validate by our own intuition?
We are scared of death.
We are scared of death. Everyone is scared of death. So what does it mean? That I want to live forever, right? Very simple. Everyone in this world is scared of death. Why should we be scared of death? If we are this body, let this body die. Why are we scared of death? Why are we so scared of losing? Why? Because by nature I'm eternal. Simple. That is why I resist death. So what Krishna says is scientific by your own experience. Why should we not accept Krishna? Why should we not accept Krishna? And Krishna says, you're very curious. That is why we keep on nobbling your phone. We're very curious by nature. And we seek happiness. Krishna says, the materialists say we are just a bunch of chemicals. Which makes sense? What Krishna says or the materialists say? What makes more sense? You don't have to say just because we are in a Bhagavad Gita class. Right? Think for yourself and see what makes more sense. You see? So we must become intelligent and choose absolute truth and go accordingly. Very simple point, actually. Very simple. We just have to accept it, and anyone who's thoughtful can accept it, actually. You don't have to accept it blindly. There is reason, there is argument, there is logic. Everything is allowed. Any question, yes, jawab is there, answer is there. And if we simply understand this, we become freed. That's all. Tattva jnanat moksha labha, ajnanat tu samsaraha. If you understand this reality, then you become freed. You become freed from your storyline. That's all. The past will not bother you. The past will not haunt you. You become freed. Krishna will free you. Open this prison door and say, go out. Right? No longer locked in the past. Right? Any questions or comments before we begin reading Bhagavad Gita? Yes.
Prabhu, what is the position of someone who has surrendered? For example, I say multiple times that I have surrendered, but I don't feel like I have surrendered. So,
What is the position of someone who has surrendered? He's not worried at all, even for a moment. He's constantly jolly. Krishna says, Ma Shuchaha, not worried. So he's never worried at all. Any moment he's not worried. He's always happy. He doesn't think about the past, he doesn't think about the future, because he knows his position clearly. And surrender is not an emotional or is not a whimsical, it is not a knee-jerk reaction. Surrender! I put a pistol on someone and not like that. So it's a mature decision we take based on the information we have. Information is very strong. It's very it's solid information, solid knowledge. Yeah. Okay. Does that answer? Okay. Yeah, sometimes we want to surrender. That is also good. But when we keep on wanting it more and more and more, then we try to do that genuinely. Like, I want to go to school. Yes. I wanted to go to college when I was 4 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old, 6 years old. I see in the movie. So very nice. I want to go to college. But you keep on deciding, I want to go to a college and college and college and so on. And ultimately, when you are of the right age, you really get to go to college. Like that. Yeah. Any other questions on the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra? Okay. So we'll read the 17th chapter, I think third shloka, if I'm not mistaken. Fourth? Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay. Okay, 17.4. Right. Can you repeat after me? Yajante satvika devan pretan, sorry, yaksha rakshamsi rajasaha pretam bhutaganam stanye yajante tamasa janaha. Does anyone want to read?
Ujanta Satvika Devan, Shashmi Rajasa,
Yaksha raksh. Tamasa janaha.
यजन्ते सात्विका देवान्
यजन्ते सात्विका देवान्
यक्ष रक्षांसि राजसः
यक्ष रक्षांसि राजसाः
प्रेतान् भूतगणान् च अन्ये
प्रेतान् भूतगणांश्चान्ये
यजन्ते तामसा जनाः
यजन्ते तामसा जनाः
यजन्ते सात्विका देवान्
यजन्ते सात्विका देवान्
यक्ष रक्षांसि राजसाः
यक्ष रक्षांसि राजसाः
प्रेतान् भूतगणांश्चन्ये
प्रेतान् भूतगणांश्चान्ये
यजन्ते तामसा जनाः
यजन्ते तामसा जनाः
यजन्ते सात्विका देवान्
यक्ष रक्षांसि राजसाः प्रेतान् भूतगणांश्चान्ये यजन्ते तामसा जनाः
यजन्ते सात्विका देवान्
यजन्ते सात्विका देवान्
यक्ष रक्षांसि राजसः
यक्ष रक्षांसि राजसाः
प्रेतान् भूतगणान्
प्रेतान् भूतगणांश्चान्ये
यजन्ते तामसा जनाः
यजन्ते तामसा जनाः
यजन्ते सात्विका देवान्
यजन्ते सात्विका देवान्
रक्षास्मि राजसः
यक्षरक्षांसि राजसः
प्रेतान् भूतगणांश्चान्ये
प्रेतान् भूतगणांश्चान्ये
यजन्ते तामसा जनाः
यजन्ते तामसा जनाः
यजन्ते सात्विका देवान्
यजन्ते सात्विका देवान्
यक्षरक्षांसि राजसाः
यक्षरक्षांसि राजसाः
प्रेतान् भूतगणांश्चान्ये
प्रेतान् भूतगणांश्चान्ये
यजन्ते तामसा जनाः
यजन्ते तामसा जनाः
Anyone else? Okay. Yajante.
यजन्ते
Worship.
worship
Satvikaha.
सात्विकाः
Those who are in the mode of goodness.
those who are devoted
Devan.
देवान्
Demigods. Yaksharakshamsi.
यक्षरक्षांसि
Demons.
demons
Rajasaha.
राजसाः
Those who are in the mode of passion.
those who are in the mode of passion
Pretan.
प्रेतान्
Spirits of the dead.
spirits of the dead
Bhutaganan.
भूतगणान्
Ghosts.
ghosts
Cha.
च
And
and
Anye.
अन्ये
Others.
others
Yajante.
यजन्ते
Worship.
worship
Tamasaha.
तामसाः
In the mode of ignorance. Janaha. People. Does someone want to read the translation?
Men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons, and those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits.
Just to give some context, worship is of so many different types. Everyone has a religion. The tribals have a religion. Sometimes the atheists make this argument. We are also theists, but we just have one God less, right? That you disbelieve in. You also disbelieve in so many gods. We also disbelieve in so many gods. We just disbelieve in one more God than you disbelieve in. Like there are 100 religions, right? Atheists say we disbelieve in all the 100 religions. And you theists, if you're a Christian or a Muslim, you disbelieve in 99 religions and you believe in one. I just disbelieve in all the 100. Some very common argument of the atheists. They say you are also a disbeliever. Correct? So Bhagavad Gita does a brilliant job in actually categorizing religions. It's not like the Abrahamics say, if you're not a Muslim, if you're not a Christian, everyone thinks that everyone else is going to hell. Shia thinks a Sunni goes to hell, a Sunni thinks Ahmadiyya goes to hell, Ahmadiyya thinks a Protestant goes to hell, a Protestant thinks a Catholic goes to hell, a Catholic thinks a Seventh-day Adventist goes to hell, a Seventh-day Adventist thinks Sufi Muslim goes to hell. Everyone thinks, except me, except my sect, everyone else is going to hell. Why is this sect very good? Because I belong to this sect. Because I belong to this sect has to be the best sect. Because I choose this religion has to be the best religion. Because I am in this US is the best country. Because I am born in Maharashtra, I am born in Tamil Nadu, I am born in Karnataka. So whatever I am belonging to, that must be the greatest. This is actually more or less worshipping the false ego. Actually, everyone in this whole world is doing upasana of their own false ego. They worship their country, they worship their state, they worship whatever they belong to, they think it is the greatest. The material qualification. So, Krishna does not say in Bhagavad Gita that Hinduism is the best religion. Krishna doesn't say that in the Bhagavad Gita. That's what you would have normally expected, right? Hinduism is the best religion. Krishna doesn't say that. What does Krishna say otherwise? Krishna says, based on what mode, what guna you are in, naturally you will worship something. Naturally you will worship something. And not just worship something, you'll have a certain conception when you worship. You'll have a certain conception. So, just like you take an example of Islam, there is a common conception. And within that common conception, there are so many different types of people who have sub-conceptions. Some people believe in a little more moderate Islam, some people more extremist Islam, some people a little sub-moderate Islam, some people a little liberal Islam. Some people even take books. Like we was watching, Divya and I were watching. There was a Palestinian Muslim. He took a Saptarishi like Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. He took all of that, Mahot Prabhu was distributing, right? And some of them take Srimad Bhagavatam. They're a little more open-minded, right? They want to see, okay, what you have to say. Like there was one Christian today in the vegan fair, we were there. He said, I was raised in Christianity, but things were too strict. My parents were very strict. I wasn't allowed to ask questions. But now I think about it, it doesn't satisfy my answers. So he took like 7-8 books. He was very interested. So there are different types of people even under the same umbrella. Under Islam or under Christianity or under Shakta, under Vaishnava or whatever it is. You'll find different types of people with different conceptions in their mind. Shri Hari. So ultimately, everyone is driven to a certain type of worship by their guna. Automatically, that guna forces them to actually perform a certain type of worship. They will not like. If you tell someone Bhagavad Gita is that Bhagavad Gita asks you to reduce your material desires. Cha! I went to that class. I hate that class. I don't like this place. Their heart will automatically dislike it and they'll run away from here. They won't want to go inside. Why? Their heart is in the, my heart is also, I cannot say their or yours. So when our hearts is in the mode of passion, it is not they or me, it is about the certain mode. When the guna is prominent, that guna will run away from that type of worship. I don't want to worship like that. It will run away from there. They can't stay because the mode of passion is prominent in that person. But when he's encouraged worship in the mode of passion, he will say, this is very nice. I like this religion. I got converted. Or I like this temple. I like this God more. Why you like this God more? He gave me what I wanted. So this God is more powerful than this God. I went to this Baba. This Baba is better than this person. Why? Because this Baba gave me everything. Why? This idea comes. Why? He's in the mode of passion. He's in the mode of passion. So their conception of, you ask any Abrahamic person or anything, what will you do when you go to the heaven? No, you will enjoy this. You will get so many people. You will get 72 people. Something like that. They have a conception of reward. This is there in Sanatana Dharma also. We have heavenly planets. So naturally, they cannot desire from their heart. They cannot desire a place where there won't be any reward. They can't understand. Why would I want to go to a place where I will not get anything? They can't think of that as a goal to aspire for. But if I'm told, if you go here, you'll get wine, you'll get women, you'll get men, you'll have nice marriage, you'll have no miseries, you'll have no old age, and you can enjoy very nicely. That I like. So it appeals to them. It's not someone's fault. It's fault. That mode is like that. If you're infected by malaria, those are the symptoms of malaria. If you're infected by jaundice, those are the symptoms of jaundice. Similarly, anyone who's infected by the mode of passion, they'll have a certain type of faith. And they will naturally be attracted like that only. Their time will be spent like that. What they talk, their worship, and how much time they spend in worship, what they think while they worship. So many levels and layers of mode of passion. Right? They do milk abhishekam to Rajinikanth, Kamal Hassan, or I don't know if it's there in North India. In South India, the culture is there. Right? They do milk. But like Vishnu Chitta Prabhu was there last week. I think he spoke on the same shloka. He said, what kick do they get? It is not that if they are pouring milk over Rajinikanth or Shah Rukh Khan, they are getting some kick. It is not that Shah Rukh Khan is blessing. Okay, very nice. Because they are doing something, that means they must get some pleasure out of it, is it not? What pleasure do they get? The pleasure that is derived from the mode of passion they get. And that mode of passion, pleasure, they superimpose it on Rajinikanth. But it is not coming from Rajinikanth. It is not coming from Kamal Hassan. It is not coming from Sachin Tendulkar. They tattoo, they paint their whole body as Sachin Tendulkar. Why? Passionate. They want to worship Sachin. Sachin is my God. Cricket is my religion. Why? They get a kick from the mode of passion. So their upasana is in the mode of passion. And ignorance also, more or less. Right? Passion and ignorance. Predominantly, passion and ignorance. That is what they worship. Leads the purport. In this verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead describes different kinds of worshippers. According to the external activities, according to scriptural injunction, only the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipable. But those who are not very conversant or faithful to scriptural injunctions worship different objects according to their specific situations in the modes of material nature. So, who's to be worshipped? So, actually, if you ask the Vedas, whom to worship, what does the Bhagavad Gita say? Very simple. Krishna says there is only one entity to be understood. Krishna says in 15th chapter, 15th shloka, Krishna says, Vedaihi cha sarvaihi aham eva vedyaha. Vedaihi cha sarvaihi aham eva vedyaha. Only I am to be known. Aham eva. Aham is a very common word in Sanskritam. Aham means what? Me. Eva means what? Only me. Very simple. Vedaihi, Veda in plural forms. Vedaihi cha sarvaihi. In all the Vedas, who's to be known? Krishna says, Ahameva. Ahameva Vedyaha. Krishna says. So, actually, Krishna or Narayana must be worshipped. He is the goal of the Vedas. He is the goal of the Vedas. This is called Vedanta. Etavan Sankhya Yoga Abhyam Swadharma Parinishthaya Janmalabha Parapuman Ante Narayana Smritihi. What is to be realized? You are performing Sankhya Yoga. Etavan Sankhya Yoga Abhyam Swadharma Parinishthaya. You are maintaining your dharma. You are following your dharma properly. What is the purpose? Janma Labham. What is the Labham? After following all these yoga, jnana, dharma, religion, pradakshinam, temple, what is the goal? You can repeat after me. Ante Narayana Smritihi. One must meditate on Narayana at the time of death. This is the goal. This is the exam. You can repeat after me. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajantyante kalevaram yap prayati mad bhavam yati nastyatra samshayaha antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yap prayati samad bhavam yati nastyatra samshayaha. I mixed up two shlokas, I'm sorry. Krishna says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tanitante kalevaram tam yeva gite kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. So whatever you remember at the time of death, you will take that body in your next life. Okay? So when you passed your body in the past life, your soul had a mixture of goodness and passion. That is why you are born on the earthly planet with some tendency towards spiritual life. You had a mixture of goodness and passion predominantly. There was some goodness. That is why you are born in a family which is maybe a little favorable towards Sanatana Dharma, favorable towards Bhagavad. Some goodness. Now, when we leave this world, if we increase that mode of goodness, we'll be born even in a more spiritual family. And if you are completely in the mode of pure goodness, which means you are transcended all the modes of material nature, when we leave this body, Krishna says, Antakalecha mam eva. Again, the word is using Krishna, Antakalecha mam eva. Smaran muktva kalevaram. You are freeing yourself from this body. Muktva kalevaram. Where will he go? He will not come back to this material world. Brahma bhuvana lokaha punaravartino arjuna. Mam petyata gumteya punarjanma na vidyate. You will not come back. You will come to my abode. Parastasmatu bhavo vyakta vyakta sanatanaha. Yassa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. You will come back to my spiritual abode. Krishna says. So if we leave this world remembering Krishna or Narayana, then we go to the spiritual planets. We don't come back to this material world, which is dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam kataha. Samsiddhim paramam kataha. So we have to remember this is the preparation time for the exam. When is the exam? When is the exam? Deathbed is the exam. If you can remember Krishna at your deathbed, Mameva, Bhishma Dev remembered like that. Bhishma Dev remembered like that. He remembered Krishna alone. Right? There was another person, a king. He just knew that he had few moments. You know the name of the king? He just knew he had a few moments. Huh? Correct. No, not Parishit Maharaj. Parishit Maharaj knew he had 7 days. He knew he had only few moments to live. He went to Indra and fought for Indra. And Indra said, you fought for me and you won over me. I want to give you a boon. The king said, my boon I want from you is tell me when I will leave this world. Indra said, as soon as you go back, you will leave this world. As soon as you go back to the Bhuloka, you will die. Anyone knows? Katwanga Maharaja. Katwanga Nama Maharaja. This Katwanga, what he did was, he remembered immediately, he was ready. Immediately. Ready to go any moment. So when Indra told, he came back, immediately retracted all the sins from this world, placed it on the lotus feet of Krishna, and he was ready to leave. Completely focused attention on Krishna. He left this world, went back to Godhead. That's it. Ready. I knew death can come anytime. I'm really ready to go back to Godhead any moment. I'm ready. This was Katwanga Maharaja's mindset. So when Parishit Maharaja was very morose, not morose, but Shukadeva Goswami is motivating. Yeah, you have 7 days to live. Katwanga Maharaj only few moments. Muhurtam. That's what he had. You have 7 days to live. Great. You can finish Srimad Bhagavatam in 7 days. Sit down, let me speak. And then Parishit Maharaja started hearing. Shukadeva Goswami started speaking. 7 days finished Srimad Bhagavatam. No eating, no sleeping, no drinking water. 7 days he finished Srimad Bhagavatam. But he was very serious to actually complete the real business of life. Are we so serious? We are not. We are just toying around here. So this is the goal of actually scriptures. What is the goal of scriptures? To remember Krishna, right? What is the pramana? We are not speaking from my own mindset. I'm not speaking because I like something. No. What is the source of truth? Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter. Krishna says, what is the shloka exactly, Divya? Antakale cha mameva. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. Yap prayati samadbhavam yati. Like, I'm always happy, my dear living entities. You will also become always happy if you remember me. Krishna is always happy. Have you ever seen a sad Krishna picture? Like that? Ever? Anyone? No. So when we remember Krishna, we will also become happy like Krishna. Who has to become happy here always? All of us, right? So if we remember Krishna constantly, Krishna says, Satatam, Satata Yuktanam, Vachatam Priti Purvakam. So this is the goal of the Vedas, to do Upasana of Krishna. Through different ways. You can do it through Homam. When you're doing in the Homa Kundam, he coming as Yagneshwara, the same Vishnu. Or you can do worship Vishnu in the form of the, what do you say, the Veda mantras. It's in the form of Vriks. You can also worship Vishnu like that. Or you can worship Vishnu in your heart as the Paramatma by the process of Ashtanga Yoga. Or you can worship Vishnu by cultivating Jnanam and understanding what is the most absolute entity. You keep on negating, not this, not this, not this. I am not this thought. I am not this. I am not this. This way you can keep on negating by Jnana and then you can worship Vishnu like that. Or you can worship Vishnu by following Dharma properly and then offering all the results to him. Swakarmanam tam abhyarchya siddhim vindati manavaha. Krishna, you can also worship Vishnu like that. Or you can worship Vishnu. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachiti taddaham bhakti upakritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. By bhakti, by love, you can worship Hari. But at all points of time, everyone is actually worshipping Hari only. This is the goal of Shastra Siddhanta. Punasatyam, 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 satyam, satyam, punasatyam, udhritya buddhamuchyate, vedati shastram param napi na daivam keshavati param. So this is the satyam, satyam, punasatyam, udhritya buddhamuchyate. Raising my whole hands, I'm telling this again and again. Worship Krishna, bhaja govindam, bhaja govindam, bhaja govindam, mudhamate. Right? You worship Govinda, you worship Govinda, you worship Govinda. Samprapte sannihite kale nahi nahi rakshati. Dukhan karane. Whatever you are learning, nahi nahi rakshati. So Adi Shankaracharya was passing by a bank and they were doing Vyakarana Shastram. They were remembering Panini Ashtadhyayi, rules of Sanskrit grammar. When they were all worshipping rules of Sanskrit grammar, this, like that, Adi Shankaracharya is telling, nahi, nahi rakshati, dukrin karane. This will not save you. Worship Govinda, worship Govinda, worship Govinda. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Mudhamate, Mudhamate, Mudhamate. In this way, he is telling all of us, hey, Mudhamate, you fools, worship Govinda. Namam dushkirtino mudaha prapadyante naragamaha maya abhagrita jnanaha asuram bhavam ashritaha. So we must worship Govinda. We must worship Krishna. Why? It is the mandate. It is the Eka Kantha. Eka Kantha means what? What does Eka Kantha mean? All of them are telling with the same voice. They are not having differing opinions. Everyone is telling with the same voice. Adi Shankaracharya is telling, Ramanujacharya is telling, Gyayam Shripati Rupam Ajasram. Right? Everyone is telling the same thing. Worship Krishna. So in this way, maybe we can take the small children inside. So, so the real goal is actually to worship Krishna. But if you are not able to worship Krishna directly, then Krishna gives some concessions in the Shastra. Okay, you worship the Devas. You worship the Devas. To worshipping the Devas is in the mode of goodness. It's in the mode of goodness. Because it gradually brings you to the worship of Narayana, Krishna. That's what Krishna says here. Yajante satvika devan. If you are in the Sattva Guna, you worship the Devas. And who are the Devas? Devas include Brahma, Shiva, others such as Indra, Chandra, and the Surya Devata. There are various demigods. Those in goodness worship a particular demigod for a particular purpose. Similarly, those who are in the mode of passion worship the demons. We recall that during the Second World War, a man in Calcutta worshipped Hitler. Right now, when Trump was going to there, they did Trump Upasana. They did a temple for Trump. Right, when I was small, they did a temple for Jayalalitha, this politician, Jayalalitha. They did another temple for an actress, Kushbu. Right? So they did temples for these are people in the mode of passion. They're more or less demons. They worship these normal people, actresses, cricket stars, movie stars. They have fan clubs. They're all people who are fools. Right? Most people are fools. They have fan club. They like God level. So most Indians don't know actually. Most Indians are foolish actually. Right? They have this Shastra. They have this beautiful Bhagavad Gita, but they're still so foolish that they're worshipping the actress and celebrities. Really? We have come down to such an extent you have to worship an actress. You have come down to such low depths of consciousness. How foolish we are. Most Indians are fools. Most Indians, wholesale foolish. They have no sense whatsoever. No sense. You have the Bhagavad Gita and you want to worship an actor and actress? What a disgrace. And what is the actress worth? She considers her own self-worth as her own body. And this actor shamelessly, associates with her without any shame. Without any shame. And you're watching that. Oof. And you're reviewing that movie. You're watching that movie again and again. And that's what we spend our time as entertainment. What a disgrace. What a disgrace. Is it not? And no wonder so many crimes are happening. Because what is the norm of entertainment? These filthy movies are the norm of entertainment. And no wonder there is so much crimes. Why? Because people are so deluded. They are covered by this moham. So foolish. So foolish. So whom will we cry to? So I cry here. So at least don't associate with these foolish Indians. And if you are one of those foolish Indians, read Bhagavad Gita. Read Bhagavad Gita. Read Srimad Bhagavatam. Don't spend your time. Read Shastra. Don't waste your time associating with people who are in the lower modes. They themselves are taking pills for their own depression. How can they help you? They themselves are. Deepika Padukone herself is taking pills for depression. Why do you want to follow her? I heard Sandeep Maheshwari became depressed. You heard that? Sandeep Maheshwari, motivational speaker, he became depressed. By giving motivational talks, he became depressed. Because his motivation is not in the line of Shastra. It is Ishvara Vihina Jnanam, Ajnanam. Without any knowledge of Krishna, any motivation is demotivation only. It is apparent, it is cheating, Kaitava Dharma. In Kali Yuga, it is all cheating motivation. If you want to be really motivated, surrender to Krishna. Surrender to Narayana. That is real motivation. Every other motivation belongs in the dustbin. Belongs in the trash can. That's where it rightly belongs. You see? So, similarly, those in the modes of passion and ignorance select a powerful man to be God. So they select some guru. So I won't say the name out aloud. So I was seeing there was a big ashram. In that ashram, they were putting the guru's name. And after the guru's name, they're saying, you are Narayana, you are Shiva, you are this, you are that, you are the Parambrahma. They're singing like that. Why? Immediately, this person who's a normal human being, immediately has become God. And all you have to do to become God is to put your name after something. After Ram or Krishna or something, you put your name, right? I start a new cult. I have a different style of beard. I have a different style of hairstyle. This is not so much prevalent in Christianity or Islam, but it is the bane of Sanatana Dharma. Every Tom, Dick and Harry wants to be Krishna. He wants to be an avatar. He wants to start a new cult. No, follow what the Acharyas have done. Our method is very simple. Very simple. Sadhu Marganu Gamanam. Follow the Acharyas. Whatever the sadhus have done, follow them. Simple. No hero worship, no cult worship. No. We worship Krishna. Why? Because so many great acharyas worship Krishna. That is how we know Krishna to be God. Or else how do I know? Great acharyas have accepted Krishna as God. So we accept Krishna as God. And they're giving reasoning. They're giving evidence. The knowledge is so deep. It is so stunning. It holds itself up. It is so robust. We accept Krishna as God. Not a whimsical God. Not a whimsical God going on the street because he can speak some English, he can create some miracles, he can create some gold. Not the cheap God. Not the cheap God. It is real. It is real. You see? So, Now they think that anyone can be worshipped as God. Whomever I feel is God is God. This is worship in the mode of passion. So what do I worship? Do I worship my feeling or do I worship my God? In the mode of passion, do people worship their feeling or do people worship their God? Ah, I like the feeling when I think this person is God. So this is God. So whom are you worshipping? You're worshipping your feeling. When I entered into this church, I felt a sense of peace. So I feel Christianity must be the right path in my life. I didn't feel like that when I entered the temples. I entered into this Guru's ashram. There was a beautiful flower that dropped from his head. And immediately, when he saw his eyes and my eyes met, and it was locked. And I felt he was going into my heart and he was discovering himself. He showed me all my past lives. And there I lay bare naked within him, before him. And I could see he is my chosen Guru. And there I surrendered myself. And after 4 years, I discovered he was caught in a sexual racket. So this is all games of the mind. So what do we accept? What is the gold standard? Shastram. Shastram is the pramanam to understand what is reality and what is unreality. We don't play these mental games. We don't play these mental games. We don't play these mental games. Now it is clearly described here that we're in the mode of passion, worship, and create such gods. So many gods created. Santoshi Mata. You know Santoshi Mata? Who knows Santoshi Mata here? Santoshi. She was one of the most recent gods created in the past 30, 40 years. You know how she became God? There was a movie made about her 30, 40 years ago. As soon as a movie is made, she becomes a god. You just do a mixed cocktail of Durga Devi, Saraswati Devi, some Radha Rani, some Lakshmi Devi, and do a cocktail. And then you add one more weapon to her. There you, voila, you have Santoshi Mata. Right? You do a cocktail of these different devatas. How do you know what these devatas are? Through the Shastra. You can't invent devatas. The devatas are there. The devatas are there. We understand, we hear from authority. We hear from authority. How do you know? Krishna has a flute. We hear from Shastra, who devotees who have actually seen him, perceived him, have understood him. From Brahmaji's statements, we understand. Right? So we don't want to create God. We don't want to create God. If you create God, how can that God solve your problem? Because you want to understand. You see? And in the mode of ignorance and darkness, they worship dead spirits. Sometimes people worship at the tomb of some dead man. Like people go to Delhi. Where do they first go? Fatehpur Sikri. Taj Mahal. What is Taj Mahal? Taj Mahal is worshipped in the mode of a dead man. This is worship in the mode of ignorance. Worship in the mode of ignorance. They go to this place, that place, Fatehpur Sikri. I don't know what other places this tourist takes you when you go to Delhi. All these are graveyards. It is worship in the mode of ignorance. Worship in the mode of ignorance. Or some people they worship their dead spirits. They go to their the graveyard and they worship this body and skeleton and this that. This is what they worship. This is a mode of ignorance. So in remote villages in India, there are worshippers of ghosts. Sometimes you see people do tantra, left-handed Vama tantra. You see this in northeastern India, more or less, right? So worship ghosts and spirits. These different kinds of worship are not actually God worship. God worship is for persons who are transcendently situated. So you have to in order to worship God, you must go beyond Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, and Tamo Guna. So worship of Krishna is not very easy. If you worship Krishna once, it is sufficient to go back to Godhead. How long you have to worship Krishna to become completely purified? Once. If you worship once, it is sufficient. That means whatever we are worshipping, We are still not able to understand Krishna and worship him. Because if you simply chant the name of Krishna once, it is sufficient to get Krishna prema. Once it is sufficient. That's all. To understand fire is hard. How many times you have to touch? Once. To dissipate a room full of darkness, it is full of darkness. How long does it take to dissipate it? Just one ray of light. Is it not? You can't say because this room was dark for 50 years. Again, light has to shine on that room for 50 years. Not like that. Right? So to worship Krishna is very difficult. Very difficult. Only those who are transcendentally, that is why Krishna says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Only by pure love can you know me. And this bhakti is very difficult. It is not easy. Yesham to antakatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvanda moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhantrataha. Only who was free from all papam can actually take to bhakti, dhrida bhakti. So don't think Hari Upasana is very Samanya Valla. One devotee is saying Samanya Valla Shri Hariya Seve. It is not very Samanya, it is not very easy. Very, very Uttamam. It is the highest Muktanam Pi Siddhanam. You can repeat after me. Muktanam Api Siddhanam. Narayana Parayanaha. Amongst all the people who are Muktas, who is the most perfect, Parishit Maharaj is telling in Bhagavatam. Api Siddhanam. Muktanam Api Siddhanam. Mukta is used in a pluralistic sense. Muktanam. Who is perfect? Narayana Parayanaha. Who's taken shelter of? He is the most perfect. Sudurlabha is very, very rare. Krishna also says Vasudeva Sarvamidhi Samahatma Sudurlabha. Sudurlabha Prashantatma. How are they? Who's taken shelter of Narayana? They are Prashantatma. They're always peaceful. Kotishu api Mahamuni. In crores and crores and crores and crores of people, you will find one person who is Narayana Parayana. It is not easy. Not by wearing tilak or something like that, you become Narayana Parayana. It's not easy. Very, 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 very rare. Sudurlabha. Durlabha means very rare. Sudurlabha means very, very, very rare to find someone who is taken shelter of Krishna. Very difficult. So we are trying to aspire for something which is very difficult. So the attempt itself is worthy of clapping. So claps to all of us. All the rishis, the devotees are clapping. You're attempting Krishna Upasana. Very great. Amazing. Because it's attempt, no one else is doing. You are in a remote village, no one is writing IIT. You are the only person writing IIT there. You are studying hard. Forget getting into IIT. But you attempted for IIT in that remote village, everyone is trying to even just pass high school. Even passed very with great mind pass. You attempted. Wow, very nice. Great. That attempt itself is worthy, right, of claps. So, God worship is, I already said, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. I'll finish in 2 minutes. When a man is situated in pure goodness, he worships Vasudeva. So, Vasudeva. Nirmalam. Because when you worship Vasudeva, you become Nirmalam. So, other is also true. It is not that only when you become completely purified, you worship Vasudeva. If you worship Vasudeva, even when you are not pure, you will eventually become purified. And when you are in impure state, you might not understand who is this Vasudeva, why am I asked to worship, why is this person shouting like this? You might think like that. But even when we are in an impure stage, if you worship Vasudeva, worship Krishna, then automatically you will become clean slate. Imagine a plate, I mentioned this example, your son ate something and he did not wash it, he kept it in the bedroom. This old dal, old sabji, old chapati, old rice is all sticking to that old plate. It is like, looking very dirty. Right? And the mother just gives a good scrub. And then again it becomes a shiny, nice, beautiful plate. Right? Similarly, when we surrender to Krishna, Krishna gives a nice scrub to the plate of our consciousness and it shines again very nicely. You see? So the impersonalists are supposed to be situated in the mode of goodness, and they worship 5 kinds of demigods. They worship the impersonal Vishnu form in the material world, which is known as the philosophized Vishnu. Vishnu is the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the impersonalists, because they do not ultimately believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, imagine that the Vishnu form is just another aspect of the impersonal Brahman. Similarly, they imagine that Lord Brahma is the impersonal form in the material mode of passion. This is sometimes describe 5 kinds of gods that are worshipable, but because they think that the actual truth is impersonal Brahman, they dispose all other worshipable objects at the ultimate end. Conclusion: the different qualities of material modes of nature can be purified through association with persons who are of transcendental nature. So there is another kind of upasana called Ahankara Upasana. Ahankara Upasana. The Shastra talks about different types of Upasana. Upasana for what are the Vedas? Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistraigumya Bhavarjuna. The Vedas are all different types of Upasana. Upasana means what? Worship. You are in the mode of passion, come here. I'll prescribe some worship. I'll give you some medicine, come. Shastra says, hey, you are in the mode of ignorance, come here. Hey, mode of goodness, you come here. What do you want? Okay, if you want this, go here. Hey, you want good health, go to Bhaskara, go to Sun. Hey, what do you want? I want a good wife. Okay, go here. I want a good husband. Okay, go to Durga Devi. So in this way, the Shastra says, what do you want? You do this Upasana. And by this Upasana, okay, from LKG you go to UKG. From UKG you go to second grade. From second grade you go to third grade. The Shastra doesn't say all of you worship the same thing. Shastra doesn't say. Why? Because all of you are in different modes. One is Sattva, Raja, Tamo Guna. So if you tell Tamo Guna person, you will get mukti if you worship Narayana. Yeah, chhod do mukti. Who wants mukti? Right? I don't want anything. So the Vedas want to motivate him, give him some place. Okay, worship this person. Right? If you ask a person who's wanting, good wife, a good children, something like that, worship Narayana, you'll get bhakti. Right? No, do this, do that. Worship a sadhu, you'll become free. Who wants all that? I'm looking to get married. I'm browsing Tinder and you're asking me to worship Narayana? No, I don't want. I'm flipping Tinder. So everyone is absorbed. Chitraketu Maharaja was like that. So Angira Muni and Narada Muni went to Chitraketu Maharaja. Chitraketu Maharaja, how are you doing? Chitraketu Maharaja, I'm very sad. Why are you sad? Because I don't have a son. You don't have a son? Yes. Then Angira Muni, Narada Muni actually wanted to give him spiritual knowledge. But Chitraketu Maharaja's heart was lamenting that I want a son, Putra Kam. So Chitraketu Maharaja was not told anything. Angira Muni and Narada Muni kept mum. Okay, I'm not saying. But within their heart, they knew that whenever Chitraketu Maharaja gets a son, he will have a premature death. But if I tell that to Chitraketu Maharaja right now, he will not accept what I'm saying. He will see me as my enemy. This person wants to take away my putra enjoyment. He wants me to become like a sannyasi. Right? This person is trying to spoil me. Like that he will think. So Angira Muni said, Tathastu, give this payasam to your wife. And he gave this payasam to his wife. She drank that payasam. He got a beautiful son. The whole kingdom was celebrating. There was great jubilation. But there are other wives. Chitraketu Maharaja had other wives. And this wife got a lot of importance from Chitraketu Maharaja. Because her son, she was getting attracted to her. Other wives thought, hey, Chitraketu Maharaja is going to that queen only. She's not coming anywhere. What is the reason? They had a round table conference. Because of the son, right? This is why it is a problem. Let us do this. Let us poison him to death. And this way they gave poison. And the son was sleeping. His mother came. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Not waking up. No breathing. No heartbeat. Die. She started wailing, crying. Chitraketu Maharaja wailed, cried. Cannot be consoled. At that point of time, Angira Muni, Narada Muni came. This person has passed away. Again, he did a U-turn and he again came back. Sometimes people take books. They say, I won't take books. And they go. Again, they come back. After 2-3 months, they again take Bhagavad Gita. I want to take today. Why? Somehow, I had this experience. I want to take. Sometimes people deny spiritual life. I don't want this. I want here only. Okay, fine, chalo. You'll again come back. Everyone has to come back to Bhagavad Gita. This lifetime, next lifetime, 100 lifetimes, 200 lifetimes, 300 lifetimes, 1000 lifetimes. You have to come back to Krishna consciousness. A bird has to return to the nest. He cannot fly on the ocean forever. Correct? Correct or not?
Yes.
A bird has to come down to the nest. It has to take It has to take shelter there. Similarly, this bird has to take the nest of the spiritual world. You can't keep running like that. At that point of time, Angira Muni and Narada Muni broke the truth. What will happen, you will see next week. So, Ahankara Upasana, I was telling, is about worshipping one's own soul. One's own soul. I'll talk about the Upasana maybe next week, right? But this is more Upasana for someone on the Jnana platform. But the highest Upasana, Krishna says, Lord Shiva is telling to Parvati, you can repeat after me, Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnoho Aradhanam Param Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadiyanam Samarchanam. So Lord Shiva is telling Parvati, Aradhananam Sarvesham, amongst all Aradhana, which Aradhana is better? Vishnoho Aradhanam Param. But he's telling Parvati, wait. There is one more Aradhana better than Vishnu Aradhana. Parvati, really? Yes, what Aradhana? Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadiyanam Samarchanam. Whoever is dear to Vishnu, whoever is dear to Krishna, you worship him, right? What is better than worshipping Krishna? Right? Which is better? Worshipping Krishna is better or worshipping a devotee of Krishna is better? Worshipping a devotee of Krishna is better. Who is telling? Lord Shiva is telling Parvati Devi. So you become a servant of the devotee. You tell Krishna, I am a servant of your devotee. Krishna says, now I have to accept you. I have to give you everything you want. Your knowledge, love, vairagya, jnana, everything I have to give you. So the highest upasana is actually, the best upasana is to worship tadiyana. Whatever is related to the Lord, you worship. That is the best. You see. So stop here. Any questions or comments are welcome. Yes.
So some people completely devotional towards their parents. For example, Sarvan Kumar. So what category he falls into?
Because if one is devoted to his parents on the strength of scriptural injunctions as a matter of duty, then he's, I would say, predominantly in the mode of goodness. Because his faith is actually in the Shastra. He's devoted to his parents on the platform of goodness, but it is not transcendental. It is still in the mode of goodness only. Because his faith is in Shastra, but he has not understood his real parents. Because in one birth only his parents, second birth, next birth, different parents, right? But he has a sense of duty which is appreciable, which is based on Shastra Pramana. So if it is based on Shastra Pramana, it is good. If it is based on sentiment means whatever my father does, it is good only. Whatever my father does, it is good only. So Prahlad Maharaj did not accept Hiranyakashipu like that. Hiranyakashipu, I have Pitr Bhakti. Whatever you do, you say Vishnu is not God. Okay, fine, chalo. I have Pitr Bhakti, Pitr Vakya Paripalanam. No, not like that. So that is sentimental. So if one's bhakti towards parents is Shastra Pramanyam, then it is the mode of goodness. And if it is based on sentiment and emotion, it is based on the mode of passion. Or if one is devoted to his father because he is helping me destroy, like Duryodhana was devoted to Dhritarashtra. Why? Dhritarashtra said yes. It is the mode of ignorance. Right. So it depends. What is the motivation of being devoted to one's parents? Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Different types of worship. Understand? So now when you see different worships, Islam, Christian, you will see in terms of 3 gunas. In 3 gunas you will see. Every person is in 3 gunas in their worship. In the temple when they worship, they go to this temple, Hanuman temple, Isvi temple, Parashakti temple, whatever temple. Everyone is in 3 different types of gunas. In 3, everyone is worshipping these 3 gunas. This guna, that guna. Right? But we have to become transcendental to these gunas. That is why you see, has anyone heard this different categorization of worship like this in Bhagavad Gita? Like it is described in Bhagavad Gita, have we heard anywhere like this? Beautiful breakdown of worship. Sattva, Rajas, Tama. Beautiful categorization. Who can categorize like Bhagavad Gita? You break down faith also. Usually people say you can't question faith. Faith is blind only, they say. Bhagavad Gita, no, faith is not blind. Faith can also be scientifically explained. So Bhagavad Gita scientifically explained. Granthra Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki. Bhagavad Gita is great, amazing. Before the questions come, Any other questions or comments? Any challenges? Any protests? Any arguments? That's good. Okay. There is a protest, that means no. Good. Nice. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki.